Hi, this is Rick. We're going to learn how to put in a loop, but a particular kind of loop, a definite loop or a for loop in this particular video. So I've still got my basic.sfc out there and I pulled it up and I've got my program explanation, my declare variable section, my input section, my process section, and my output section. What we're going to do this time is make a loop the same way we did in the last video, but we're going to use a fixed number of times that it runs. We're going to only run it 5 times. So the declare variable section has to include that variable that actually controls the loop. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make another variable, and I'll just double click this one and I'm going to say make a variable, and we're going to call this variable index. Now your instructor may shorten that to I or use another word. Whatever word they want to is fine. So we now have a variable index, but oh, I made a mistake. That should not be an input-output. That should be a process. So I'm going to right mouse and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, would you please transform that into a sequential process, and click OK, and keep the word the same in the middle, and there it is. So I can actually correct my mistakes as I go. So now I have this new variable called index. Now we can go out to the user and say, user, enter the number of inches you want to convert to feet. And we're going to put that in the inches variable. However, in the processing, we want to be able to go out and let the user enter 4 more of those. So I'm going to go to the process down here and I'm going to say, let's introduce a new kind of loop, and it's going to be called a counting loop. And we're going to actually run this counting loop 4 more times. So I click OK, and it wants to know, first of all, is it increasing or decreasing, because we can have it do either one. It's going to increase in this particular case. And what is the loop control variable? Well, the loop control variable is the one we created. It's called index. And I'll press tab. What is the starting value of the index, or the loop control variable? Well, I'm going to say the starting value is going to be 1, and the ending value, I'll press tab key, the ending value is going to be 4, and my step value, how much it increases each time it runs, is going to be 1. And I only have one choice for the format of this particular element, so I'll click OK, and there is my loop. Now the explanation of this is fairly simple. The initialization of the variable is right here. That says the index is going to equal to 1. Then the program checks against the condition. As long as the index variable is less than or equal to 4, the number of times we want it to run, it will then do whatever is in the loop. At the end of performing those procedures, it's going to raise the index variable by 1, because we said we wanted it increased. So now all we need to do is fill in what needs to go in the loop. Well, that was fairly simple, because last time we did this, all we did was cut, scroll back down, and paste. So we took the number that the user entered in inches and we just converted it to feet. So that's part of our processing. And now we're going to have the output. So here's my output. I'll control X because I'm going to move it. Click it here, and there's my control V comment. I'll select my feet output and control X to move it, and control V to paste it there. Here's my label. I'll control X and control V to paste it there. Just as with the indefinite loop, the definite loop needs to go query the user again for more input. So at this point, I've already got that done. I've already got it up here, so I'll just click, and this time I'm going to control C to copy, come down here, control V to paste, and I will go back up and say, once the user inputs the number of inches they want to convert to feet, let's stick that in there. So I select my element, control C to copy, and control V to paste. Notice that this thing is going to run 4 times. Now you go try.